to another episode of Chaotic Good Advice. So,
That's how you do it for Chaotic Good Advice.
randomly. So, on this episode of Chaotic Advice, we are actually going to be doing an episode on improvisation, as we figured that D&D is very much an improvised style game. We're going to teach you how to improvise when the moment comes up. In the spirit of improvising and actually having it all kind of using that improvisation skills, we are all improvising this entire episode. This episode has actually had no description whatsoever, and we're just seeing what kind of comes up. So that way you guys can actually get a good understanding of how these guys improvise, as well as how to kind of go through it. Because these guys have been playing D&D for now nearly 2 years now, so they're pretty skilled at it.
Plus, like 10 years when I was younger.
Unless you don't know what to roll.
Nicholas.
There was like a 10-year gap. He bullies us.
No, he was just
Every day.
lazy.
We've been playing for 2 years and I forgot what to roll last
Okay.
time.
So, let's jump into it. With our first tip on... With our first tip on how to improvise a session, we have play on emotions. When you are improvising your own scenes, playing on those emotions, maybe the anger, happiness, fear, sadness, they're really good emotions to play on as a character. Think about how your character will be feeling in the moment when it's happening and feel free to run with it. Really over-dramatize it, because that's actually quite fun, especially when you're playing with a group of people. Over-dramatizing it can actually be quite funny. So, we're going to give you a little bit of an example of this. So, for example, we're going to starting with Jasmine. We're going to do a little bit of an example on playing with emotions. I could clip multiple times that Hugh has played on their emotions, especially when anything comes with Polo. Actually, I should just clip it and put it right here.
You just hold the white card.
Hugh recording of Hugh bawling her eyes out over a Polo. That is a very good example on...
Are you going to?
I'm actually going to do that.
It was cut in the middle, right there.
Because... that's genuinely speaking, that is a great example on playing with motions, because you played on that so well, because it's exactly how I imagine you.
Method acting. That's what's called, right?
Method acting, where you are the character.
You know what, actually for this one, I'm actually just going to give examples, I think, from each of you guys. If you have your own example, feel free to bring it forward, but I think that's a good one for you. Yeah. Hal or Nick, I think you're playing on emotions side of things. I think maybe the best example for you would have actually been the last episode when you were like, nah, I'm done. You do whatever you want, I have to leave this bitch. Like, that you played on that frustration really well, because you were able to kind of do that. So these are some great examples. You should be seeing the clip play kind of down here, so you can get an example of what. Yeah, so you can get an example. Oh yeah, I could do that too. Or so you get an example of what that kind of emotions are like. Craella, Jessie, what?
Your curiosity.
Yeah.
I do have a big curiosity.
I think for you, it's curiosity. I think for Craella, very much.
She wants to know more. I want to know more.
Yeah.
Or Crailla's ambition to go get a boat.
That was one time.
Or when she decided to go through the tunnels and then pop out and kill the beast.
Yeah, at the end, just like, fuck.
That was 2 times!
The rope was once, the beast was once. Leave it at that.
Those I think are really good moments from you guys, but also I think for you specifically, just Craella doesn't really... Craella knows, but for Jessie, that moment in the Vision episode where you saw your parents get completely taken away and you watched these guys all get killed, there was a full-on...
I was going to cry.
I have no... your face was just like...
I was going to cry if that continued.
But I think as well, like that whole moment you saw for the first time, Craella's like, I don't have I don't know what to do. I don't have control in the situation. I can't see what's going on. Like, I don't know what's going on. That was a really good moment, I think, for you. So those were some great moments on playing with emotions and stuff like that with these guys that I think might be helpful. The reason why as well that we're doing this little chaotic good advice is because it's our 1-year anniversary. So we are actually doing this episode as like a little bit of a way of showing you guys how we get into character and we improvise. For example, this is a really good moment. Second point, reactions are key. So this is going to be a very good example on reactions are key. So when you are acting or when you're improvising, reacting to the moment, reacting to what's happening around you is part of it. And it's really important to be observing and keeping an eye on what's happening around you so you can jump in at any moment when you feel like your character would. But also, not only that, by reacting in the moment, if something happens, you're not kind of breaking that immersion by going, okay, well, what was just happening? What were you doing? What's going on? You're reacting as it's happening. If someone does something, you're like, I'm running, I'm going. Like, for example,
another tunnel.
Best example I think of off the top of my head is last episode where Crayola cast Walk on Water as the boat was sinking. It was a great reaction moment.
As
it was,
I was
just like,
trying to
boom.
save everyone with the rope and I was this far from the shore.
So,
Now
to
suddenly
give
they're
you a little in-person example of reactions, we're going to act out a little scene for you.
In the scene, do we have access to our spells?
Yeah, whatever you want. They're your characters.
Oh, it's
You're in your characters.
Gonna cast all
I'm
700
gonna
of my
start
spells.
I'm gonna start the scene, and you guys, all you need to do is react along with me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's all you need to do.
Pressure.
So,
Pressure.
you guys are all
Teamwork.
sitting in a tavern, and you guys have, after a really, really long day of searching for a mysterious item that you guys actually never found, you guys managed to make your way back to the tavern and sit down for a nice hot meal. It's actually the first time you've had a hot meal in about a week, so it's the first time you actually can enjoy it.
Needed.
As you're eating that meal, there is this loud scream from the corner of the room as this woman bursts through the doors, and she just stares at the person who screamed and she goes, "You!"
What
Well,
now?
who are you?
Who are you? I'm trying to eat a meal. Why are you in here yelling and screaming?
Well, I'm here for my bounty.
What do you have to do when people are eating? Can you just like take it outside maybe?
The woman who's screaming is like this in the corner, and she's like, and the person's just like, for starters, this has nothing to do with the three of you.
For starters, you're interrupting our meal.
I said nothing.
Go away.
Huh. Well, you're lucky I'm in a good mood. You come here! And this woman's like, "Ah!" And she like grabs her by the hair as she's being pulled out, and you can see as the hair is like actually being ripped out of her head as she's pulling with all her might. And this woman's like, "Help, please!"
Let go of her!
Oh, for goodness sake!
If you
You again!
If you were doing the public place, be a little bit more civil about it. Be a bit more gentle. Or would you like your hair pulled?
Huh. She throws the woman and she boom onto a table, and you can see as this woman's now bleeding from the head. The woman's like, and you can see as she's really dizzy as she's like trying to get up, and this woman standing over her is like, well, who do I have the honor of being interrupted by?
I don't think you deserve to know.
I cast command on her and tell her to leave.
Okay,
Nice.
so
I walk to the girl.
you walk over to the girl to help her, and she's like, and she puts her hand up and she grabs your hand and she looks and she goes, and she's like crying profusely. And the woman's just like, I must be going. And she turns around and she just walks out of the tavern. And the woman who was thrown to the ground just looks up and she goes, Thank you.
Anything?
Yeah, sort of walk over.
Sarah, you can come out now. And now you see this like 6-year-old girl who climbs out from underneath the table and she goes, "Is she gone, Mum?" And she goes, "She's gone. You can thank these guys for it." End scene. So,
I got into it.
I wanted to know why she had a bounty.
so that is a really good example, just so you guys know. And that again was all improvised, straight on the spot. None of that was planned.
Don't know who Sarah is.
I even improvised an Eiffel Tower.
So it's a great way so you can see how that plays out. Now,
He's the fork.
tip number 3. Think of your character's voice. So, your character's voice does not have to be different to yours. It does not have to be an accent. You don't have to put on a Scottish or British, British, American, Australian. It is your voice. It is up to you. If you would like to, you can.
Even if
But
change the cadence.
yeah, you for example, I talk like this normally. This is my normal voice. However, if I'm going to be a real person, maybe I talk a little bit more higher, and I maybe pause when I don't need to. That is a great, easy little swap of the voice. With these guys, for example, they feel free to give them a little bit of an example of how you can change your voice very simply to your character. So Hugh, how would your character really speak?
She like speaks with a little bit of more of a clearer voice.
You've got a bit more authority behind you.
You reckon? Because
yeah.
I don't think she's not super like
You're not
bouncing
regal.
my foot.
Yeah, you're not regal or like strict or anything or like posh. You're more like commanding, kind of like a police officer in a like a ranger way.
I'm a female police officer.
Wait, comma.
Oh Jesus.
But yeah, she's just a little bit more pronounced in how she speaks, and
I agree.
it's a little bit more firm, a bit more gentle when she
A bit
needs
more
to
of a
be.
foot forward.
I fully agree. Hal, give us an example of how Hal would speak.
Well, Nick is a bit of a smartass, but Hal is a little more gruff with it.
Mm-hmm.
He's not as charming.
He tripped on his words once.
No, he's not.
No, so sometimes, like just then, I was a bit gruff. Like, what now? Like,
Yup.
Nick would be like, oh, what? But Hal go, what now? Like,
Yeah.
he's gruffer than I am.
You're a bit more like easily to you go to 0 to 100 a lot easier and faster, I suppose. Is that what you're
Yeah. He's always ready. Not
You're
so
like,
much
"Oh!"
gonna fly off the handle, but he's always ready.
Like everything's like the slightest inconvenience and he's like, oh yes.
Well, his younger years, he had to be pretty hyper vigilant a lot of the time, so he's
Yeah.
always
I
ready.
love the word vigilant.
Love it. Good job. Cryella or Jessie.
No, she's a bit more reserved and held back. Like in the previous interaction, she was waiting to see where the situation went before she reacted. She will gather her surroundings and information a little bit more clearer before she makes a decision, so she knows if it's the right thing. I, on the other hand, in real life, still don't know what I'm doing on a daily basis, most of the days. But no, Cryella is a bit more like reserved, held back, not grungy, but you know when someone has come up hard, like in more of like a harder upbringing.
Like world weary?
Yeah, but like in World War is definitely a great way to describe it, because I picture Cryella coming up. I haven't actually played this, but I picture her coming up in more of like a, she had to stay sheltered for her life, especially with her brother dying young. Like she is constantly wary and constantly on the lookout.
I like it. So
Wow,
that
I just spoke about my accent.
that's fine. Doesn't
You
matter.
guys went fully into it.
It's how you
Your
interpret it as
accent
well.
is like you. The way you speak as Hugh
Is how you play Hugh.
is like honestly inspirational. Like I love that like police
Ugh.
sort of commanding
See,
nature.
It's hard over here.
The thing is,
So
though,
like, did the heat
the
get turned
reason
on?
why I personally think thinking of how your character would speak is a really good first step is because something that is very common is that the way we speak and the way we present ourselves is actually shows a lot about our personality than we realize. So a lot of the time, if people speak open and freely and very good, they're very happy to mingle with people, but if people are a little bit more reserved, a bit quiet, a bit like this, they don't usually like to speak to people. And it's a really subtle thing you can look at as you go around and you just watch people. So one of the best improvisation techniques is actually to watch people as you're in your day-to-day life, because you can see how people interact with others and you can actually see how they speak, how they move, how they walk, how they talk. and it helps you kind of build a character or build the sense of who you are. So start with your character's backstory. If you're a noble, criminal, or a sailor, think of that. And then use that,
Build
which
a
leads
good-
me to my next point.
I would like to add to the backstory part, build a detailed backstory.
Yes. Which
Add
actually,
as much detail as you can, and if you're doing a D&D character, tie it to the aspects of your sheet.
Yes.
If you've got charisma, but like you're like Crayola, a bit more reserved, tie the charisma in of she's good with people, but stays alert.
yes.
She
So-
won't just jump into any scenario. She gathers info and then launch.
That actually leads me to my fourth point, which is think of your character's backstory. It also leads me to point number 5 as well, which go very hand in hand. Use your stats as a guide to how to play.
You're welcome.
So, 4 and 5 link together, that's why you've seen them flash up on your screen at the same time.
Okay.
Both of these points are extremely tied together, but think of the way your character would be, think
So
about what
it's
they've
just
been
0.5,
through
0.5.
specifically, because that will help you narrow and like guide yourself through who you are. Like Crayola said, or like Jesse said, your stats can really help you guide. If you're very high charisma, you're very good at speaking to people, play on that. Start with one thing and you'll find that things start to flow and come with that. You might start with one backstory, and as you start to venture through your character, you might find, oh, something popped up and you go, ooh, that's a little bit different. I wouldn't mind exploring that a little bit more. Do it. If you've got a good DM, they will let you run with whatever you want to run with.
Unless you have hard DM, then you are.
No, you're trying to shoot arrows around.
Unless you're
stone
like
pillars,
Jasmine as a
Jasmine.
character and want to do like 7 things in one go, you can't do that.
There's so much to ask.
Yes.
Can I shoot an arrow around the stone pillar? No. But why?
I'm
If-
taller than it.
With improvising and those moments, a
Okay.
good DM would let you run with it. So please, like, ask your DM first before you play. Say, hey, I'm thinking about trying something different this session. Can I? Most of the time they will say yes. But use those stats, use your backstory as a way of guiding. Start with one thing, then expand and add, because you'll start to feel like it becomes second nature as you play. And as a last little bonus tip, one of the things is play in the moment. So, one of the biggest things that you can do is play in the moment. Do not get distracted by your day-to-day stuff. Think when you sit down at the table, when you sit down for the session, be part of it. Enjoy it. If it's not your go, just sit back and enjoy the storytelling. It's like watching a movie, I suppose. Think about it in that regard, and you'll actually be able to react a lot better because you'll be in that moment. Yes.
Oh, something to add to that. If you go check out the socials, you can see Kimmy's setup, and her setup is based like Elowin's character and who
Correct.
she
It's
is.
how I imagined inside Elwin's mind would be.
Yeah.
Literally.
And it's like, have little things that remind you of your character. Like, I've got, I don't know if you can see,
Influence.
I got dragon eyes in my dice. And it's like, have like little things that you collect that mean to your character.
You also have a sword.
Like, she always has perfume on her, so she's got like a little perfume. She has her family's amulet ring, so I have like a little ring. It's like build stuff or buy stuff really
Collect little
cheap.
knickknacks.
Yeah, that
Immerse
reminds you of
yourself
your
physically.
character. So when you have your character around you and like surrounding you, you will have more. Unless if you're sitting there with a blank bit of paper, inspiration isn't going to come to you. It's easier to become your character when your character is around you.
Yeah, it's a money problem. And
I agree, and I think that's a really good way of going about it, because I think with the way your character should be designed is it should have those little elements where you can you can actually play on them. You shouldn't need to really stress too much about, oh, I need to think of all these things. Like, no, use your character sheet. It's created there for a reason. Use that as a really good starting point. You've got traits, you've got personality traits, you've got flaws, you've got all that stuff actually built into your character sheet. So those are a great stepping off stone. And like Jasmine was saying, building that surrounding, feel free. Like, one of the biggest suggestions that I actually recommend is wearing clothes that you feel like your character might wear. Wearing things that maybe represent your character. And really getting into the spirit, but feeling like when you sit down at that table, feeling like you've stepped into this new realm, it's actually something magical, and I think it really could help if people know how to improvise and people know how to use those little tips. It's something so simple and so easy. Like these guys, we're not professional actors, none of us are. So if we can do it and we can just absolutely have a ball with it, I think everybody can give it a go. And if you're not particularly the best at it, and if you're not super, like, if you're a bit nervous, I recommend absolutely talking to your DM about it and asking if it's a safe space for you to do it, because I think any game of D&D should be that safe space for you to experiment and play with your character, because
You play
it's
with friends more often than not too.
and that's exactly right. You're playing with people who you already like.
Even if you
may
are
potentially
playing
know.
with people you know, there are things you can do to play a bit more in character. I remember starting off and not knowing what the hell I was doing. Didn't know what a dice was, didn't know what a spell was. As I've learned over the years, it's easy to get lost in everything going on and everyone else's abilities. I was relying on everyone else to do, not everything for me, but I felt like everything I was going to do, they were going to do, because they have different strengths. Focus on your strengths as a character. What can you do in that moment? Not what Hugh can do, not what Halden can do. What can you do in that moment? And what would your character do? Not what you would do, what would your character do? Don't forget you are a character. And like it's already been pointed out, just don't forget to be in that moment of having fun in that role. You're not surrounded by a million strangers, you're surrounded mostly by friends if you are playing this for fun. And we're not professionals, we're having fun, we get chaotic all the time. It's a great time.
That is the perfect way to segue to our lovely little outro, and I just want to end this chaotic good advice by saying that you are, as a player, just as important as the DM, just as important as the storyline, and I think no matter who you are at that table, no matter what you do at that table, you are important, and you should definitely try and play up on that. This has been Chaotic Good Advice. Don't forget to subscribe and enjoy. That's it.
That was cute.